All right. This next one comes from open to open question mark. They say, should I consider an open relationship? I'm not looking for anything serious, but I would love to have a guy who wants to do datey stuff without committing to each other, since my life is way too crazy to add another quote unquote responsibility. I know that sounds harsh, but I genuinely don't have the emotional or mental bandwidth for something where I need to give 100%. So I'm wondering if maybe an open relationship would get some needs met, allow me to enjoy the company of a guy when I do have some spare time, but not require finding a guy who needs that commitment. Thoughts? This is mine to take first, and I'm glad it is.
Yeah.
So sounds very similar to where my mindset is at the moment. Like, we have kind of a similar mindset, and like, I don't have, my walls are quite up at the moment to anything serious. Like, if I were to meet somebody awesome, it would be hard for them to break through no matter how great they were, just because of past experiences and things like that. But also, I'm not particularly open to, any kind of, I don't want to say like meaningful relationship, because I do think all relationships can be meaningful even if they're not meant to be long term. But I'm not getting on the relationship escalator. I'm not looking for things to escalate and go to where, like, oh, we're trying to do anything like that. So I'm in a similar place. The problem that I'm coming to find is that it's really easy to be super, super selfish in that mindset. And that's coming from someone, like, I consider myself to be kind of a selfish person. Luckily, the people that love me the most often tell me that I'm not a selfish person. So it might just be like a self-conscious thing. But I tend to think about, okay, what do I want? What do I need? A lot. And I think probably that's healthy to an extent. But in this case, when you're looking at like, okay, I want to get my needs met, I want to have the company of a guy when I want it, all those kinds of things, those things are reasonable. I think it's perfectly understandable, but you also need to remember that the other person is also a person, and the other person also has needs that they want met, and they might not see exactly eye to eye. And I think that's where you're saying, like, oh, if I were to get in an open relationship, I wouldn't be the only person, and so I could be the same to them. But I think it's rare to find people that are looking for exactly the same thing that you're looking for. And also there's that question of, if you spend that time, however much time you have together, and things get more romantic, you fall for each other, one falls for the other, it doesn't, if you're saying like, I'm only interested in this relationship that's like low commitment, low effort, whatever, and things start to change for you or for them, either you've set the boundaries and it's going to cause weirdness, or you don't set the boundaries and nobody kind of knows where things are at. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't do this. I'm absolutely not advocating for not looking for folks that are open to an open relationship. I think that absolutely is a valid relationship style if that's something that works for you. What I'm asking for you to do is to take some time and like really spend some time with yourself and find out, do I want to be with somebody in an open relationship because I'm scared of commitment? Is it because I'm afraid that I will get into something and then not have the time for it and like torpedo it? Or is it really what you're saying is just like, look, I don't have a lot of time right now, but like, I'd like to fuck every once in a while, or I want to go on dates, or I want somebody to make me feel special. All of those things, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with any of that. But I think if you can really narrow that down, you can then be really open and honest with any potential partners. And then, yeah, you can start looking for people that are looking for that. Definitely non-sponsored, but if they want to sponsor, it'd be really great. There is a dating app called Feeld, Feeld. And it's sort of I don't know how to describe it. It's not like a kink app, but it's like more of a very open app. It's for all people, all types of people. So people can be specific in what kind of relationship types they're looking for, what kind of kinks they're into. Like it's very, very open. You can, if you are polyamorous, you can actually, or you're in a relationship and you're in an open relationship, you can actually like link your and their dating profile so that people can see that you have a partner, you have a real partner, and you're both on the app. And like, you can search together or you can search separately. Feeld is a really good place. I think if you're looking for that kind of relationship, you can be clear as day. And then somebody who is looking for somebody in an open relationship, or looking for somebody that as low commitment or whatever, can be way more specific than something like Tinder or Bumble, which is way more restrictive. Like there are people there that are polyamorous or in open relationships or are looking for different things, but it's way harder to be super specific. Whereas on Field, you can be as specific as you want, and chances are there are people that are looking for something similar to what you're looking for. Liam, what do you think? Did I completely botch this? Am I wrong?
No, man. I think you're spot on, and I think I applaud the the writer here for having kind of that self-awareness to recognize like, hey, this is what I need. Jumping into a full-on relationship is probably not going to be a good fit for me right now. So let me find something that can kind of scratch a couple of different itches. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what you said kind of at the start, this idea of remembering it's not just about scratching your itch, it's about making sure that your partner's itches are being scratched as well. So, maybe you want to date and have it be casual and it's just not that often. They may be a little bit more regimented in the way that they want to do dating, especially when it's like, the big romantic holidays. And they're like, well, I want to go out on Valentine's Day, but you're like, fuck Valentine's Day. I'm not into all that lovey-dovey stuff. But, if they're kind of doing for you, you want to make sure that you're reciprocating. And it should never be I did this for you, you have to do this for me. But you should want, because then it becomes where you're holding things over the other person. And you want to make sure that there's give and take, that you guys are both getting what you need out of whatever that relationship is. So I think part of the struggle is going to be finding a person that is open and willing to kind of work with you in that regard, or multiple people if it's polyamorous or however. But then also making sure that you are very open with setting what boundaries you have going into that relationship, and hold firm to them, because if you start to give a little bit on a boundary because you're like, well, I don't want to lose this person as a partner, but this was kind of a hard stop for me, you're going to kind of have to stick to your guns, for lack of a better term, because even just that one little boundary being broken, then it starts to snowball, and then it becomes where maybe you fall into a relationship, like a singular relationship that you were not initially looking for. And then as the months go by, or sometimes even years, you're like, oh shit, I'm in a relationship and that was not my intent. So, I think just be open and honest, make sure that your partner is also, or partners are open and honest. Everybody sets their boundaries, make sure that things are workable within everybody's set of boundaries, and then go fucking have fun. I mean, that should be the biggest part of relationships. I think anytime I see somebody post like, oh, marriage is hard work, or, loving someone is hard work, I'm like, this is not, it's really not. If it's that much hard work, like there might be something wrong. So have those conversations and figure out how you can fix that. Cause in my experience, the relationships I've been in where the relationship was hard work, or loving that person was hard work, it didn't end up being worth the amount of effort that I had to put in to try to maintain what I thought was a healthy relationship, because now I'm in one, and I feel like I say it a lot on the show, and I'm not just trying to brag, but like, it's hard not to. It's really nice to just like wake up and I keep hitting my mic. Just like wake up and just be like so easily in love with my partner. And I want that for everybody. I want everybody to have that kind of easy love, 2025, 15 years later, so.
And it's not that it doesn't take work. It's not that you guys haven't had to put in work. It's just that it's work that's so worth doing. It's so like, what you're getting out of that work. Like, it's not to say that a good relationship isn't going to take, work and compromise and figuring out those things. But when you love somebody so much and they make you so happy, then it's like, do I want to, I don't know, like not play video games at night because the kids are being rowdy, or because, we had planned to spend time together watching a show that I don't care about watching. No, I'd rather play video games, but like, I love this person and I want to spend time with them. Right. So it's easy to make those choices, as opposed to like, like if you're in a relationship that sucks and you're like, I don't want to do this. Like, oh, fuck, I got to go spend time with my partner. Like, okay, well, I don't think you're in the right place.
Red flag, red flag. Well,
Yeah.
like I don't like doing the dishes. I don't. There's just
Hmm.
never going to be a time where I'm like, man, this is rewarding and fun. No, I don't give a fuck. But I know that she also doesn't really want to do the dishes. So,
Yeah.
and she does them more than I do, like for fucking
Hmm.
sure. But like if I'm up in the morning and I see, oh, we left a bunch of dishes out. They're not out, but they're like all in the sink. And I'm like, well, I'll just fucking wash them. I've got 15 to 20 minutes. The kids are still in bed or Brittany's still in bed or she's, getting ready in the bathroom. Like, fuck, I'll just do them. I'm here.
Yeah.
I might as well do it. And it's not because I want to, but I know it is one less thing on her plate for the
Hmm.
day. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm thinking if I can make it that much easier for her, why would I not? Like, why would I not want
Yeah.
to do that? So
Yep.
it's almost like you do these things because you're not looking for reward. You're not looking to be like thanked or praised for doing it. You
Yes,
just
you are.
know. No, well, I am. I think most other people are probably not. I want a
Yeah.
fucking ticker tape parade. Like this shit better
Right.
rival Macy's Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Um, but no, but I want. I'm happy knowing that she'll walk into the kitchen and have that sense of relief of, oh, thank goodness he did them. It's one less thing that I have to do. And I think that's love to me, just like
Yeah.
when people talk about like, oh, acts of service or kindness or whatever the fucking thing is. I don't really buy into that what's it, 5 stages love language, right? I'm
Love
fucking
languages. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't really buy into that. I feel like everybody kind of has their own thing, and some of it probably exists well outside the love language shit. I mean, my love languages are like oral, anal. No, I'm just kidding.
I think
But
just for just to because I want to interrupt you because it's fun.
oh,
Uh,
you love.
I I think the love languages are just a useful tool. I don't people use them as like gospel the same way they use like
Yeah.
horoscopes as gospel. They can be a
Yeah.
useful tool. Like horoscopes are good because they can give you like, oh, here's a thing to focus on today. But it's not as if that horoscope is like this is the blah blah blah. It's with anything. It's like if you take it and use it as a tool, like if I recognize, oh, I really respond well to when people like say nice things about me. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, probably because I'm a Gemini and also I'm an actor, so clearly I love attention. But like when people say good things about me, I really like that. If I'm in a relationship and somebody's like, God, you're so hot, I'm just like, oh my God, just like it melts my insides. I love it.
No.
Whereas like with other people, they want to be bought shit all the time. So, but it's not as if I also don't enjoy all of the
Getting
other
shit
things.
bought.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
like quality time. I like getting gifts. It's just a useful tool that
But
can
that's
help
the
you
same
sort
thing.
of, whatever.
But I think that's the same thing with the horoscopes. Like it's a useful tool to
Yeah.
to identify certain characteristics that you may exhibit, but by
Yeah.
no means are you going to exhibit absolutely every characteristic that's contained
Right.
within that horoscope.
Yeah.
It's funny when something's spot on. You read
Mm-hmm.
something, or I have a fucking Pooh Bear mug that's like Sagittarius, and it has like a little quote that's like, I don't know, while you're a fat piece of shit, your charm helps bring in the honey, or something like that. Like I don't know what the fucking thing.
I don't think
says.
that's what it says.
It's something like it's a Disney mug. Of course, it calls me a fat piece of shit.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Well, that checks
like
out.
little. Yeah, of course, but it's like your charm brings in the helps bring home the honey or something. I'm like, oh, that's cute. So like I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's little things that are going to resonate, and I feel like that's why people buy into things like horoscopes. I have
Mm-hmm.
a sister that really she likes to go and get readings done, and
Mm-hmm.
she's had some readings that have been spot on, so it reinforces her belief in that whatever this person says it is going to happen, or like that she's helping to manifest it. And like that's
Mm-hmm.
great because that's something that works for her, just like horoscopes work for other people. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in shit. I am like
Same.
I'm the worst of the worst. And so
Oh, same.
but I appreciate that people can use these things to give them that confidence. I think that's the best way I can put it. It gives them the confidence to do the things that they might not do otherwise. And that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm a dickbag. I have all the confidence of like a herd of fucking elephants. I'll do whatever the fuck I want because I'm unafraid of consequences, apparently. So I mean,
Yeah, you're a
Sagittarius,
sociopath.
that's
We
what we
know.
do. No, yeah, I'm a
We know you're a
sociopath.
sociopath. That's your astrological sign,
I
sociopath.
think you're pronouncing Sagittarius incorrectly.
No,
So
that's what I said.
that's what I said.
Sociotarius.
Sociotarius, right? I'm a half man, half asshole. Um, yeah, but I fucking way off the beaten path right now. But yeah, I think that that's the I think that's the best thing that people can do is find the things that are going to help them be the best versions of themselves. And if that's to tie this back around, if that's being in an open relationship or starting as an open relationship that then eventually becomes something that is maybe a little bit more monogamous or a little bit more centered, let's say, where you're not seeking those same things out in just whoever you meet. Like maybe it is a more finite group, whether that's one partner or a handful of partners, whatever that looks like. But I think all of that is going to stem from you being confident and knowing exactly what it is that you want and knowing exactly what it is that you don't want. I can speak from experience that Tim and I both, one of the biggest fucking pet peeves we have is when somebody says, "Oh, I don't like that." And then we go, "Okay, but what don't you like about it?" Or do you have a suggestion of something else? And they go, "No, I just know that I don't like that." It's the same thing. It drives me crazy when Brittany's like, "What do you want to eat?" And I'll name off like 3 different things. And she goes, "None of that sounds good." And I go, "Ball's in your court, babe. You let me know." Because in this moment, you have a much more refined idea of what you want.
Yeah.
Versus me just throwing out a bunch of random shit until the dart finally fucking hits the board. So,
Yeah.
I would say define, right? DTR, define the relationship, figure it out,
Yeah.
figure out what you want. When you meet somebody, figure out what they want and see if the stars align. See if you guys can find commonality. But that would be my suggestion.
And then tangentially,
Again,
if you do find somebody or somebodies that fulfill those needs when you have them, and if things start to change and you either want more with both or all or one of them, or you want things to change, just communicate those things.
yeah.
And also be prepared for them to not want the same things. Because I think that's one of the biggest things with alternate relationship styles. And when I say alternate, I mean anything outside of like the traditional boring ass monogamy that, Liam and I typically subscribe to. But one of the biggest things is that I think people can like have this idea that, okay, I feel this certain way. I want this now. They get involved with something. 6 months, a year down the road, things start to change. They want more, they want less. They find that they're really, vibing with certain parts of it and they want to explore that more, whatever. That is perfectly okay. But it's also perfectly okay for the person that you're with, who you set arrangements with, to say, well, that's not what I signed up for. And that's still not what I want. I've had that experience actually in a couple of relationships. I had it happen in the first relationship after my marriage ended, where I was very clear that I don't have the typical things to offer. I'm not moving in. Nobody's moving in with me. I live with my ex and we are raising children together as friends under the same roof. The possibility in the future of, having somebody else move in, we've discussed it and it's on the table, but right now we're considering it essentially off the table. And the girl that I was dating, also did not want any kind of commitment like that. I'm never getting married again. I'm not having any more kids. Thank you, doctor. These arrangements were there. And also my free time is limited. I'm a full-time narrator. I have a family. I have a podcast and YouTube show. I have a video game reselling business that I do for fun. My time outside the house is limited. And so the right partner for me also is going to have their own shit going on, is going to want to do their own thing, is going to have friends and be independent or whatever, so that we can enjoy the time that we have together. And she was 100% on board. This is what she wanted. She never wanted anybody to move in with her, anything like that. And so we dated and it was working out. And then she started to realize, oh, I really like when we're spending time together. I want more. okay, I can make some more time happen. We'll make more time happen. And then I was like, no, I want you to be able to drop everything if I'm having a bad day and just come over, or if I just miss you. And those things are fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. And there are plenty of people that can provide that. I just can't. And I was upfront about that from the start, that I don't have that. Now, if you're having a terrible day, something went wrong, you know, you're really sad and hurt. Yes, of course. There are a lot of times where I can be like, hey, Sarah, do you mind if I head out? And she would be like, yes, get the fuck out of here. You know, or if I'm working, I can move a book and record it later at night or whatever. I can do those things. But like, to be able to just drop things at any point, I can't do that. And, you know, it's perfectly okay for her to change her mind and want that later. The same thing happened with my last relationship. She came to realize, among other things, I won't get into some of the shitty stuff, but she came to realize like, oh, I thought I wanted the kind of relationship that you had to offer, and now I can't. I want more. I want, you know, somebody to be able to move in and whatever. Fine. Perfectly okay. Perfectly acceptable. So I think for you, going into this open relationship, and you're getting a really long answer to your question, but
yeah, we really went off on this one.
We went like this. I think if you are going into this, one, you should be open to that changing for you. And if it does, communicate and be prepared for the other person to maybe not want that. And two, be open to that changing for your partners. And then you having to decide, are you open to changing to that? Whether that means not being in an open relationship anymore, whether that means permanently being in an open relationship, or being polyamorous, which is a kind of open relationship, but not all open relationships are polyamorous. And, or whether it means, you know, that they want more commitment from you. They want to be a nesting partner, whatever it is, be open to it, and open to having the discussion and finding out if it's what you want or if it's not what you want. All right. We're done. You get no more time open to open. You have to pay for the extra minutes.
Dude, monopolizing the show right now. I hope you're happy.
So selfish. Just kidding. We love it.
Hey, everybody. If you liked the clip that you just watched, make sure that you like and subscribe so that way you never miss a new episode or a new clip that comes out. Because let's be honest, you can never get enough of these two dumbheads. And we have all of the absolute worst advice available for free right here on the interwebs. And if you like this, you can also go to thelovegods.lol and submit your question, or just throw it down there in the comments below. Either way, we'll find a way to ruin your day.
And there's more clips where that came from.